Victoria Leonardo and Melissa Gatto in the women's flyweight division. It's another 50-50 fight. A lot of the fights on this fight card are very, very 50-50. This is another one of those fights. I mean, the betting odds for the fight, I believe, are 50-50. Oh, wow. Wow, the odds have changed. Never mind. The odds were 50-50 at the start at -110, -110, but now Melissa Gatto is a pretty big favorite. That is very, very interesting. So, for this fight right here, Victoria Leonardo and Melissa Gatto, they both have decent striking. I mean, both of them aren't really gonna impress me too much with their striking, but they both have average striking. I wouldn't be going out there saying like Melissa Gatto is a much better striking. My dog is sneezing a bunch right now, but it is a very 50-50 fight on the feet with the striking between Melissa Gatto and Victoria Leonardo, but the way that Victoria Leonardo wins her fights is not in the striking. It is in the wrestling and with the ground and pound. We saw the fight on Dana White's Contender Series, getting the second round of ground and pound TKO. I'm not too sure how many takedowns she did land in the fight, but she did really good in the wrestling and grappling game of controlling your opponent on the ground and landing that ground and pound, eventually getting the finish. Yeah, 3 takedowns right there is very solid. But in this fight with Melissa Gatto, does she even want to get a takedown? That is my question. Usually, she's got an armbar submission win, a rear naked, another rear naked, another rear naked, and then that ground upon TKO. But even with the good submission skills and even with that wrestling that she's gonna have in the fight, does she want to even take down Melissa Gatto? 6 wins, 0 losses, and 2 draws. I don't even know if I would want to go for a takedown on her because she has 4 submission wins, 2 decision wins right there, and 0 knockout wins. All of her submission wins are on bottom. I mean, or it's like an armbar on top. All of her wins are triangles or armbars or kimuras from the bottom. She did get 1 win over Carol Rosa. If any of you guys know who Carol Rosa is, she's a very grinding wrestler and ground and pounder, just like her opponent in the fight. Melissa Gatto's opponent right now is a grinding wrestler ground and pounding type of girl, as we saw in the Chelsea Hackett fight a couple of months ago. But Melissa Gatto went out there and looked really good, even on bottom after Carol Rosa landed those takedowns. She was landing from the bottom and eventually almost sunk in that triangle choke submission from the bottom and switched it to a kimura and tapped out Carol Rosa. And again, if you guys do not know who Carol Rosa is, we'll check on the UFC stats. She's an amazing wrestler. That's why I'm not too confident in Victoria Leonardo going out there and wrestling and grappling, because Melissa Gatto's submission game from the bottom is just that good. I mean, she submitted Carol Rosa. That is a very impressive thing to do. Let's see, it's not showing just yet. Let's check. Carol Rosa, there it is. So Carol Rosa, 14 wins at 3 losses, lands 2 takedowns every single fight, but she lands at a 60% accuracy and 90% takedown defense. Her goal in her fights is to take her opponent down over and over again and destroy them on the ground. Against Vanessa Melo, had 5 minutes of control time and just dominated her on the ground with ground and pound and won that fight. Against Jocelyn Edwards, landed 4 takedowns with 11 minutes of control time. So that's the type of fighter Carol Rosa is. She's a grinding wrestler looking for the ground and pound and looking for the TKO. Same thing with Victoria Leonardo. That's why this fight is so close between Victoria Leonardo and Melissa Gatto, because Melissa is the better grappler and she's honestly really good against wrestlers because they just kind of stay on top and going for the ground and pound. It's very hard for them to go for the ground and pound because as soon as they throw a right hand with their ground and pound, she's gonna grab the arm and look for an armbar, look for a triangle. She's immediately just going for submission after submission after submission and looking to get that tap out. So it's a very close fight. I am going to be leaning towards Melissa Gatto. The striking game, again, is very 50-50, but I do think Victoria Leonardo is not going to want to take down Melissa Gatto because of the submission game from bottom from Melissa Gatto. So I think if the fight does hit the ground, it is going to be Melissa Gatto on top of Victoria Leonardo. When Melissa is on top of you, you're going to stay there. I mean, when she gets taken down, she's going to go for the submissions and eventually she's going to get back up. But when she is on top of you, you're not getting back up. She's going to get the submission or she's going to keep you there for the rest of the round. And I think we'll see a decision win from Melissa Gatto right there. I think Victoria Leonardo is going to get taken down 3, maybe 4 times in the fight. maybe get submitted by an armbar, by a triangle, by a guillotine, something like that. But overall, I do think the fight does go all the way. Melissa Gatto has the better grappling, and in my opinion, Victoria Leonardo is not going to want to wrestle. So in that case, Melissa Gatto will have the better wrestling as well. Again, the striking is very, very even, but with a wrestling and grappling advantage for Melissa Gatto, I'm going to have to give her the very, very slight edge right here. Also, the fact that she is going to be a little bit bigger, moving from the bantamweight division all the way to the flyweight division. So as the size advantage, the grappling, and the wrestling advantage as well, I'm going to go Melissa Gatto by a very, very close decision right there, 29-28. I think one of the rounds Victoria could keep the fight on the feet and maybe outstrike her by a little bit. But either way, even if Victoria Leonardo does really, really good on the striking or anything like that, I think eventually Melissa Gatto will get her down, control her there, and win the fight by a unanimous decision right there. Overall, very, very close fight in the women's flyweight division right there.